All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Today we are talking New York Knicks because they've had a they've actually had a money offseason. I'm not being dramatic here. The Knicks have had a phenomenal offseason, and they already were, but they're even more so headed in the right track right now. I mean, this is one of the most promising young group of guys in the NBA today, and I don't know why people don't really realize that, but I realize it. So I want to make another Knicks video for you guys. And, we look at their offseason moves so far. Most notably, you have the Jalen Brunson signing, which we'll talk about. You have the Mitchell Robinson re-sign, which we'll definitely talk about. I think one thing that is so below the radar is just signing Isaiah Hartenstein on a pretty team-friendly contract. Isaiah is one of the most low-key players in the entire NBA. And as a Houston Rockets fan, I remember Hartenstein, this guy, defensively speaking, and I'm being serious here, he is a phenomenal defender. Genuinely a phenomenal defender. Offensively speaking, he can still get you a bucket. It's usually going to be around the rim. I don't put too much stock into his 38% career three-point shooting because it was 0.3, 0.4 attempts per game. So I don't put too much stock into it. But if they give him a green light, I mean... and he's knocking them at a 38% clip. Isaiah Hartenstein kind of molding into a young G. Already is a young G, so never mind. Molding into a young star. How's that? But welcome back to the channel. Too many days have passed since my last Knicks video. I made one I think it was Monday. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. Maybe let's try and hit 100 likes on today's video. That would be dope. I've talked about their offseason moves, but I want to actually get this video started to talk about RJ Barrett. Because as one of my loyal viewers commented, I'm so sorry I forget your name. RJ Barrett, in my opinion, is about to turn into an all-star. RJ Barrett will be an all-star next season. If I am wrong, please come back to this video, clip it, send it to me on Twitter. Because I am very confident. I should try and think of some type of bet, some type of dare, where if RJ Barrett doesn't become an all-star, I'll do something. So maybe drop a comment down below if anything comes to your mind. But RJ just starts slow. He's only 3 years into the league. He's improved every single season, but every single season he's also started off on the slower end. And so if RJ can just get off to a normal start, just being RJ Barrett, 20 points per game, what have you, he's going to be an all-star. I guarantee you RJ will be an all-star. So I'm very, very, very excited, and I'm on the RJ Barrett bandwagon because I think he's an absolute stud. Keep in mind, I am a Duke bandwagon fan, so I've loved RJ Barrett for several years. Same thing goes with Cam Reddish. These cats better, Tom, you better use Cam Reddish this upcoming season, because if you don't, man, I got nothing for you. This guy's a phenomenal. He's the definition of a 3-and-D basketball player that you want on your roster on a cheap contract. He's the definition of it. But anyways, I think Jalen Brunson was a money move. I genuinely think Jalen Brunson, I'd give it an A+. You gave up no assets. I guess you gave up some money. $25 million a year for a good point guard is not a bad price in the slightest. Every team needs a good point guard. Every championship team has a good point guard. And Jalen Brunson, from what we saw without Luka, it was a little over 20 points per game, 7 assists or so. He can play make, he can distribute, he can play make for himself, he can play make for his teammates. He's a good passer. I think he is going to be the difference maker genuinely with the New York Knicks. I look back to the Knicks last year, and obviously they didn't have a terrible roster or anything like that, but Julius Randle, not a great season. RJ Barrett, if we're talking true shooting wise, shout out to my boy Swaggy, not great numbers, not efficient numbers. So I think Julius Randle, RJ Barrett next season, they come out with a chip on their shoulder and they have a phenomenal season. I think they're both going to have phenomenal seasons. Jalen Brunson is going to help relieve a lot of offensive pressure as well to guys like RJ Barrett and Julius Randle. It gives the Knicks another option. Knicks did struggle with scoring the basketball, especially at the end of last season. They just had some issues with it. And in my opinion, Jalen Brunson needed an opportunity like this. He needed an opportunity like this. The Dallas Mavericks with Luka, the most ball-dominant point guard, probably the most ball. I don't have the stat to back it, but he's at least a top 5 as far as just holding the ball. I mean, as far as usage goes, the ball is always going to be in Luka's hands. So how can you really, really mold into a star if the ball is never in your hands? Well, that's actually exactly what I think Jalen Brunson, now that he's the New York Knicks point guard, this is a guy who I've seen him play in high school. He's not afraid of the moment. He is not afraid of the pressure. He's coming, there's family. It's just a perfect A+ fit. And I guarantee you, 4 years, $25 million, I guarantee you, once we go into a lockout next season, CBA comes into agreement, I guarantee you, once Jalen Brunson's contract is over, it is going to be considered a steal. So next up, we have Mitchell Robinson. 4 years, $60 million. That is unbelievable. I mean, that is unbelievable. At this point, Mitchell Robinson, just stay healthy, please. One of the best rim protectors in the league. Phenomenal defender, one of the best big man defenders in the league. And I'm very hopeful for Mitchell Robinson. I'm very glad that also he wanted to come back to the New York Knicks, because I know they've had some issues with contract extensions the last several seasons. So the tide is 100% shifted in the Knicks. But I look at what the Knicks had last year, and D Rose, Kemba, they're nice. D Rose, to me at this point in his career, is a complimentary piece. So I think Derrick Rose, especially paired up with Hartenstein, you have guys like Emmanuel Quickley. You'll have guys like Emmanuel Quickley being the Knicks bench even, bro, is very talented. But specifically the Derrick Rose Hartenstein duo coming off of the bench, I think is going to shock a lot of people. I think it's going to shock a lot of teams and a lot of fans when they watch their team play the New York Knicks, because Derrick Rose is a good passer. He's career a little over 4.5 assists per game, something of sorts. He's a good passer though. And Hartenstein, he's kind of just I would view him as a very good basketball IQ player. He knows where he's got to be. He knows his role. He knows his limitations. He knows his strengths. And so I think the pick and roll game with D Rose and Hartenstein is going to be absolutely money. I think it's going to be absolutely money. Moving on from that, we'll see if they make more moves. I don't know if the Knicks, rumored are planning to make more moves, but, I mean, Obi Toppin, Quentin Grimes, even Keels dropped 25 in his first game with Duke, so I know he's more of, he's 18 years old. This guy's, literally 18 years old, so I know he's, probably not going to have an impact, if any, impact this upcoming season for the Knicks. But you look at guys like Obi Toppin, McBride, Quickly, hopefully Reddish, Jericho Sims. I mean, the Knicks just have one of the best young rosters in the entire league. I'm telling you, they have one of the best. And things are going to click this next season. And they're definitely trending very, very clearly to me in the right direction. And I definitely have the Knicks making the playoffs, not being in the play-in tournament next season in the Eastern Conference. So that's it for today, man. I got to go live stream this Rockets. I don't have to. I'm going to go live stream this Rockets Magic game on my Rockets channel. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, hit that subscribe button. It's greatly appreciated. I'll catch you cats later, man. If you want more Knicks content, hit that sub button, drop a comment. Peace.